Hey, Dr. Karp here. Welcome to another video lesson from San Francisco this time. Thanks for the comments on the last video. Very cool. And this video we're going to be discussing the first lecture. It's the first lecture really in movement and mechanics. We're going to talk a little bit about exercise and what I think you should be thinking about when it comes to exercise. I'm not going to necessarily recommend an exercise plan. However, this will sort of give you an idea of the concepts of health. So there are basically several ways of dividing up exercise. There's running, where you are running to a point where you can't carry on a conversation, so it's like running, sprinting. There's long distance walking, where you are not, where you're not out of breath. Then there is lifting things. And then there's flexibility. So there are four different levels to exercise. Now, if you're not exercising, I always recommend people to start by trying to get 2 hours of walking per week. And if you can walk 2 hours per week, and we'll go into what exactly that means in a second, generally you're capable of doing more. So let's break it down a little bit. First of all, I'd like you to figure out a way where at least one part of that week, it's 1 hour consistent walking. So you're walking for 1 hour duration. If you can't do that, obviously just build up very, very slowly. I want you to be able to do 1 hour of walking. The other hour of the week at this point could be either other exercise or just walking 20 minutes a day or 15 minutes a day. However you can do, whatever you can do to get that extra hour in. So those are the categories. Now, when it comes to flexibility, flexibility is something that is important for overall health, because if your muscles are able to be supple and flexible, they are less inflammatory than muscles that are tight. And the reason for this there's lots of reasons for it, but when it comes to tight muscles, there's also tight fascia. And amazingly, in fascia and around joints, you can build up lots of even what are called micro abscesses around this fascia. And as a result of that, there is a baseline of inflammation that potentially could be going on in your body. So flexibility is very important. Now, fascial work or getting soft tissue massage can help that, and that's certainly something that I recommend. Lifting things. So there's all kinds of things you can do for that. I really believe that everyone should be able to walk 1 full hour before they start on any sort of weightlifting program or anything of that sort. And I recommend really for everyone to consider getting a trainer. They're not nearly as expensive as they used to be, and they're high quality certifications out there that we can get into in another time after I research them myself. There are all kinds of certifications out there. I'm sure some of them are better than others. If you have information about that, leave it below. But generally speaking, most trainers at most gyms can get you started. But I believe walking is really important. The next thing I want to discuss is over-exercising. Over-exercising is a chronic problem that I see in Southern California. And what the issue is like these things like CrossFit workouts, and people feel like they just need to go crazy every day, and that causes inflammation in the body and will worsen your psoriasis. This is very important. I've seen this many times where by cutting their exercise down, they end up seeing some improvement. It's sort of counterintuitive, but we have reached a place in our culture where people are exercising sometimes too much. So let's go to the next category, which is sprinting. Now, sprinting only needs to be done once or twice a week, and I wouldn't do it if you can't do it. And I guess I should call sprinting high-intensity exercise. That could be high-intensity interval training, where you run for a minute really fast, and then you walk for a minute or two, and then you do it again over and over again, time for 4 or 5 cycles. There's that. Really running running and getting out of breath and running for like 20-30 minutes is really not that conducive to health. Now, if you run for a little while, you get out of breath, and then you pause, and then you do it again for short intervals, that's okay. But I certainly wouldn't do that. If you can't walk an hour, can't walk 2 hours a week without getting tired. And I would certainly, obviously, discuss all these things with your diet, making sure your heart's capable of doing these sorts of things. But let's review the categories again. So there's walking. You should be able to get into the habit of doing 2 hours per week. There's flexibility, and of course you could do yoga. You could go onto YouTube and type in flexibility, and you'll find all kinds of flexibility things, videos. There is lifting things, which are best done with a trainer because you want to get the movements right. It's painful when you go to the gym sometimes and you see people lifting weights incorrectly, and you'll just get injured. So I highly recommend that you get a trainer to at least learn the proper body form. So there's high intensity, and then there's high intensity training. So with high intensity training, you can type in high intensity interval training. You'll get all kinds of options, and that should be done twice a week, generally speaking. That's more than enough. Type in Tabata workouts, T-A-B-A-T-A, and you'll see some remarkable studies done by a Japanese, I think he was a physiologist, he might have been a doctor, where they did these high intensity, they measured VO2, which is your body's uptake of oxygen, your body's ability to uptake oxygen, and remarkably, they designed these 4-minute crazy high intensity workouts. And VO2 is generally a measurement of your overall fitness because it's your ability to use oxygen. And just with 4 minutes, like twice a week, they're able to get higher VO2 max than people who were like running for 25-30 minutes a day. So there's something remarkable that happens during high intensity training, but it's not something everyone can do. So, okay, so that's a brief summary on exercise. We probably will go into it more in depth. I'd like to hear your comments below about which of the 4 you're involved in. So do you do high intensity interval? Do you do some flexibility work? Do you do weightlifting? Do you do walking? And so I'd like to hear your comments below. And again, it's much better if I just come outside and film wherever I am. It's almost like I guess you could say, like therapeutic for me. So appreciate your attention and your listening. And I look forward to my next episode when I take a break and I come outside. All right, talk to you soon.